Hi guys, and welcome back to another video on this channel. In today's video, I'm going to discuss 21 misconceptions that are related to express entry system, and I don't want this video to be a long one, so let's dive into it right away. The first myth that is related to Canada's express entry system is that it is the only way to immigrate to Canada as an economic immigrant or to get PR. There is no doubt that express entry is the most common program under which immigrants migrate to Canada, but Canada's provinces and territories have the advantage of being able to select certain immigrants outside the express entry system, which is based on labor market needs, and that is called provincial nomination program, through which they may select immigrants who may not necessarily be eligible to enter the express entry pool. There is no doubt that this provincial nomination will expedite the application for express entry system, but in some cases, some provinces don't even need express entry profile because they have their own PNP programs. Canada also offers various pilot programs for immigrants like the Rural and Northern Immigrant Pilot Program, the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, the Agri-Food Immigration Pilot Program that you can explore. The next misconception is that candidates will know for certain how many points they will need under the comprehensive ranking system, which is called CRS, in order to be issued an invitation to apply. So this clearly means that when candidates are applying for express entry system, they certainly know their own CRS points. However, they cannot predict what will be the next cutoff or draw that will take place, or even their ranking in the express entry pool. The comprehensive ranking system is CIC's method of ranking eligible candidates in the express entry pool. This may help candidates by giving them a figure they can aim to surpass, but will not provide them with any guarantee that they will be issued an invitation to apply if they reach that figure. So the next misconception is that express entry is a lottery-based system. Express entry is not a lottery-based system. There is no randomization while picking up candidates from the pool. Applicants are solely invited on the basis of their CRS score. If they don't meet that minimum CRS score that is needed for that round of invitation, they will not be sent any invitation to apply. This is one of the major misconceptions, that anyone who wishes to immigrate to Canada can enter into the express entry pool regardless of their age or skill level. Unfortunately, this is not true. Only those who meet the requirements of one of Canada's existing federal economic immigration programs are eligible to enter the pool. If you do not meet all the requirements of one of these programs, then you will be found to be ineligible for express entry, even if you complete the approved language test and your education credential assessment. That does not mean that you meet all the criteria of one of these three programs. Another very common myth is that if you submit an express entry profile, you will get to immigrate to Canada. So not everyone who creates their express entry profile will be sent invitation to apply for Canada's immigration process. As I said before, express entry is not a lottery-based system and candidates are not selected randomly. But if the CRS is too low, the candidate may never receive an invitation to apply unless they increase their CRS score. If you are trying for Canada's PR, you can certainly have a look in the previous draw results to see if the score is competitive or not. The next myth is that age is not a factor in express entry program. It is estimated that by 2030, 23% of all Canadians will be seniors. Because of this, there is a very high demand for young and educated workers to join the workforce for the long term. This is why express entry awards the most points to those between 20 and 29 years old, and so age is a factor that will be considered at the time of eligibility. Also, do remember that Canada's immigration process is for those who are 18 years and above, and there is no upper age limit as such specified by IRCC. You can see this screenshot that shows how the score will reduce as the age increases. The next myth is that you need a job offer to immigrate to Canada through express entry. Now, this is a major misconception that we have been asked many times, that do we need a job offer to immigrate to Canada? So the answer is no. You don't need any job offer when you're applying to immigrate to Canada via Express Entry system. But certainly if you have a job offer, it will help boost your CRS score and your ranking in Express Entry pool. Now, the myth number 8 is passing a language test will not be required in order to enter the Express Entry pool. But guys, the truth is that you have to pass one of the approved language tests to prove your proficiency in one of the languages, either English or French. So the most common language tests are IELTS and CELPEP for English and TEF for French. Candidates won't be able to create Express Entry profile unless they clear one of these tests and get the required minimum score. And this minimum score requirement varies from program to program. Also, it does not matter if you have done a degree in English or French, or if you are coming from a country where first language is English or French, but still you need to sit for this exam, and there are even more points if you get higher CLB level. So there is no way you can avoid this language test if you wish to immigrate to Canada. The next myth is everyone who submits an Express Entry profile needs a provincial nomination. So you don't need any provincial nomination to submit your Express Entry profile. There is no doubt that provincial nomination will give you extra 600 points, but if you already have high CRS score, then why to get into all this hassle? Because this PNP will not only make your PR process costly, but will also make it lengthy. Also, those candidates who accept the provincial nomination have to show their intent to work and live in their province that has issued them with provincial nomination. Myth number 10 is that everyone can apply for provincial nomination to increase their CRS score. Now you must be thinking that if your CRS is low, then you can apply for PNP to just boost your CRS. But again, while each of the province and the territories of Canada have provincial nominee programs in place, not everyone is eligible to apply to these programs. Most PNP streams offered by the provinces and territories require applicants to have a job offer in place. The provinces that do not require a job offer will look out at other factors such as applicants' primary National Occupational Classification, that is NOC code, or CRS score, or any connections that they may have to the specific province or territory. The next myth is that ranking system only rewards wealth. Now this is a major misconception again that goes on in the mind of people, that they think that you need a lot of money to immigrate to Canada. But as I told you before, the calculations for the Express Entry system are mostly age, language, education and experience based. So the more proof you provide in terms of the skills and abilities will help you to increase your CRS score regardless of your financial status. The next myth is that once an Express Entry profile has been created, it cannot be changed regardless of whether a candidate improves his or her points. So the truth is that you can update your Express Entry profile while you are in the pool. This profile is very flexible and you are free to update it before you get invitation to apply, especially if you have done things to boost your CRS. Like if you have given another language test and you scored better marks, you can certainly update your profile. A candidate's profile is not logged at any stage during that 1 year when it is in the Express Entry pool. Myth number 13 is candidates can enter the Express Entry pool by giving false information, and if subsequently issued an invitation to apply, they can immigrate to Canada. Misrepresentation will be caught and will carry stern penalties. So guys, whatever information we enter in our Express Entry profile is totally self-declared, and because of that we are tempted to enter some false information in order to appear eligible candidate. So guys, this can be caught at very initial stage in the application, and there are very heavy penalties like a 5-year ban on applying for permanent resident status. Myth number 14 is family is excluded from an Express Entry profile. When creating an Express Entry profile, the candidate has to declare their spouse or partner. This also includes their biological children or adopted children or stepchildren, because once the candidate receives an invitation to apply, they will be asked to list their spouse or partner if applicable, as well as any dependents. all spouses or partners and dependent children can obtain permanent residence status with the applicant as long as they are not found to be inadmissible to Canada. Here you must keep in mind that you cannot include your parents or grandparents or any other relative in your PR application profile. The next myth is that express entry is only for specific occupations. Unlike certain other countries, Canada does not have any in-demand occupation list as such. Canada's National Occupation Classification, that is NOC, is a comprehensive listing comprising 10 broad occupational categories based on skill type. I'll put the link in the description box below if you want to know more about National Occupational Classification, that is NOC code. The next myth is you can do nothing about your low CRS. Though it is not easy, but you can certainly get some additional points to boost your CRS. So the CRS score is allotted out of a total of 1200 points, while 600 points are allotted on human capital factors referred to as core points. Another 600 are set aside as additional points. You can certainly get some additional points if you have your brother or sister living in Canada, or if you have French language skills or post-secondary education in Canada, or maybe arranged employment or PNP nomination. For example, if you have a low CRS of 100, a provincial nomination can make your CRS jump to 700. Now the misconception number 17 is that express entry covers all provinces in Canada. The standard express entry program covers 9 provinces out of 10. Now this is important to note here that if you want to migrate to Quebec, there might be different requirements other than express entry system. The next misconception is there is plenty of time to apply if you are invited through express entry. So there is strict 90-day deadline to submit your application once you receive invitation to apply. So it is a good idea to start collecting your documents as soon as possible, because once these 90 days will expire, you have to restart the process and again you have to be in the pool and wait for the invitation to apply. The next misconception is that express entry will be a seamless, easy process. Now, seeing the current number of people moving to Canada, you might be thinking that it is such an easy process. Once you receive an ITA, it is all done. But trust me, collecting all the documents and submitting your file and then waiting for all the background checks is not a piece of cake. And candidates will have to provide a lot of supporting documentation that meets the standards set by CIC. The government is reviewing the applications more religiously than ever. Immigrating to a foreign country with a strong economy, diverse culture, and proud history such as Canada is a desire for millions of people from around the world. While Canada has generous immigration programs, it also ensures that applications are thoroughly reviewed. After an application is made, there can be lengthy processing period under the current immigration system. Candidates also think that the standard processing time for the express entry system is 6 months and they will receive their PR in 6 months. But this can vary from case to case. Putting together all the documents is not an easy task. So if you think you are a potential candidate and you will receive an invitation in the next draw, so you should start working to collect all your personal documents as soon as possible. The next misconception is that once submitted, the PR fee is non-refundable. So if there is a case where candidate's application is rejected, or if he or she withdraws it after the processing has started, then the right of permanent residency fee, that is RPRF, will be refunded totally but not the processing fee. And in such a case, the candidate can create new express entry profile and be in the express entry pool, which can be considered for future rounds of invitation. And finally, the last myth is that express entry restricts where you can live in Canada. So if you have been granted your permanent resident status through express entry system, you are free to live, move or work anywhere in Canada, unlike in provincial nomination program where you have to live in that particular province from where you have been granted the PNP. So guys, that's all in today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching it and it also cleared many of your misconceptions regarding express entry system. If it was useful enough, then do give it a like and don't forget to hit that red subscribe button. Until the next video comes up, bye bye.